Good evening. Hello. Welcome
Ew.
to another trap review. Served to you on a spooky orange platter.
That was the most prolonged ooh-ah I've ever heard.
It's spooky month. We're here. We're doing it. Hi. It's Mason, crafter of pumpkins.
It's me, Aubrey, crafter of sweet treats. And occasionally spooky sweets. I don't know.
It's me, Fern, crafter of, tricks?
I
Was
didn't.
crafter the word we used? I forgot.
I guess so. I didn't
But
really
tricks that are
expect us
not
to
for
all
kids.
to all be have our own professions and like live in our own Salem village. But you know, it's fitting.
It's
I'll
a
take it.
crafting village.
Well, I mean, I think it's just a village. That's how villages get by, right? Just by having a bunch of different people that do the jobs
That
that need to
sell
be
their
done.
wares.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I've
mean,
I've been to Silver Dollar City. I've seen the blacksmith. I know what it's like.
I've
I
done my
mean,
fair share
I
of
don't think
bartering.
Silver Dollar City's supposed to represent a village, but that's a topic for another time.
That's neither here nor there.
Because it's a
Yeah.
trap review, and this time it's the fourth one of Saw, the movie. You've heard of it.
That's right. Since it's spooky season, we decided to strap Mason down and make him watch yet another Saw movie.
Yeah,
So we could get his opinions.
we
And
did
I'm
it
excited.
again. We did it again.
I can hear the excitement.
I think there's a little bit more life in your voice than, the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't as bad this time. It was pretty okay. It was decent cinema. I got us that it was good. I liked the movie this time, but I still hated everything that I had to see, and I still resent it. So let us continue.
We're very proud of Mason's
Yeah.
progress. Only a couple more Saw movies, and they'll be a real boy.
I guess we could start out with a little bit of fun trivia. I was telling the gang there's not as much fun trivia for this one like there was
So let's
for
get
the
it
last
out of the
one.
way. Shove
My
that
favorite
trivial.
piece of trivia is that during a scene in Jill's clinic, Derek, a teenager, is seen in the background watching a fight between Cecil and Gus, and Derek is played by Devin Bostick, who later returned as Brent Abbott in Saw 6. But you may also know him for playing Roderick in the first version of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. Um, that's my favorite thing I've seen him in, but I do also like him in Saw.
Cannot TBA on my opinion there on both of those movies. I should watch them back to back, right?
Yeah, also, there's a character called Donnie Greco who makes an appearance in this
Donnie
movie,
Greco.
and he is played by one of the producers of Saw. And he is the guy that was Amanda's quote unquote boyfriend that she dug the key out of in the first movie.
Huh.
Um,
Is
so because it's a flashback, he would still be alive.
is he technically the real Jigsaw if he's like actually closer to the creation of the traps than the actor? Is that actually the hidden real Jigsaw in the movies all along?
um,
Sure.
I mean, that's a really good thought, and there's more to come, so you'll find out, I guess, as
Okay.
we watch more.
Okay. Cool.
Gives you something to look for.
I will keep
Also,
looking for this man.
Saw 3 and Saw 4 kind of happened simultaneously, like timeline-wise, like with the ends kind of lining up with each other. But originally it was written so that Saw 4 was happening at the same time as the first Saw. So instead of Detective Strom entering the like makeshift hospital room with Jeff and Lynn and Jigsaw and whatever and Amanda and whatnot, he would have entered the iconic bathroom from the first movie after Adam was left to die there. And then apparently Adam would have attempted to shoot Strom out of fear, causing Strom to shoot and kill him in self-defense.
Wow. I have exactly, so I know what you're talking about right now. That's amazing.
Yeah?
5 cheers for that one.
What?
Woo, woo, woo.
You wow, okay, Mason's not a fan. Not a fan of that.
What? I don't.
What? That just seemed really sarcastic.
The words that you said just sounded like gibberish to me. I don't remember who these men are.
Oh, yeah, I would think the first one would be the most vivid, but let's move on. You know, since you remember this movie so clearly, you go ahead and introduce that first trap there.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll be the one. All right.
We've also decided we don't like the names given to these traps because they're kind of boring, so we're gonna name them ourselves.
This is the traps. This is the first one. 2 men wake up in a bank, and one of them doesn't like the other, but they don't know each other, and they definitely don't get along. They can't communicate. 'Cause one of them has his mouth sewn shut, and the other one does not have eyes. And they are, as you can see in the diorama pictured on the screen, they are chain linked together by some cool metal collars and a bunch of chain.
What did you decide to call this one?
Is there going to be a grand reveal at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, are we building up to it? Okay, you keep going.
Yeah, screw you. Don't try to rush me on my portion, Aubrey. I know you want to go so bad, but
Oh my God! There's tension
listen.
Tension.
The anger has built up over the course. I have been tortured over the course of these last 3 films.
This is your trap.
My trap is the Saw films, and honestly, I am at the 3rd stage of grief, anger. Is that right?
I don't think they're really in an order.
Okay, well, either way, I am at anger right now, and I've decided, I guess, that this time I'm really mad at you guys for making me watch these movies. So I'm putting my foot down on this one. If I'm gonna be here, then I'm gonna do it the way of me. All right. Tonight, I'm gonna talk about these
Sinatra's
boys.
"I Did It My Way."
No. Just because of that, I'm gonna play "Fly Me to the Moon," and you can't stop me.
I feel like you're getting a lot off your chest tonight.
Listen,
Well,
we all need things. We all need things sometimes. And tonight, I just need to talk to you about these traps. So this guy without eyes wakes up and realizes that he's got chain on him, and he's trapped, and he can't get away. And then the other guy wakes up, and he can see that what's going on, and he's got chain on him, and he's trapped. But oh boy, he can't talk to the other guy at all, because no mouth. And the other guy is just going freaking crazy because like he can't see anything, and like there's
no eyes,
no eye.
No eye, no mouth.
No eye, no mouth.
That's the name of the trap. No eye, no mouth.
No, but you just helped me name it. Thank you. All right. But what's wrong is that they're being slowly pulled into the trap. But they can tug at each other and get get further away from the trap, but they find out it actually, if anybody gets too close, it's kind of like a tug of war where something really bad happens if you get too far on the one side. The balance, the balance in all things that exists in this trap. No eye, no mouth. But they can't really do anything to stop this situation or like calm down at all, because they literally can't communicate. The other one guy doesn't even know the other one's in the room, and the other one no mouth.
Yeah. This trap's also, interestingly enough, this is one of the only Saw traps to not contain a tape recorder, a TV, or a written message detailing the instructions of the trap.
Yeah,
like these men just awake and literally get no context. And not to mention that, we don't get a reason at all about the guy who has his eyes sewn shut, who is allegedly named Trevor. I don't know how we're gonna know that, but
Wiki knows, so it's okay.
Yeah. They claim there's literally never a reason given for why he's a victim. And I don't like that. As somebody that likes to have the reasoning, and that's what I like about the Saw movies, that kind of frustrates me to realize. I never thought about it much because it's an opening scene, but
yeah, and I mean, I guess we do learn why the other person is in the trap, but it really does feel like they just sacrificed somebody else for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like it's a little hard for me to describe what's going on, since there's just, there's not really much going on. This is what kind of happens. Let me see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot in my notes about this, since there just really isn't much to say. I believe that does one guy pulls the other one too far, right? Do you remember, Aubrey?
So Trevor, the guy who's blind, has metal tools on his side, and he just starts like throwing shit around because all he hears is the other guy's muffled like yelling.
Dulcet tones.
And so Art, the guy whose mouth is sewn shut, actually eventually he realizes like, oh, I can't communicate with him, so he just grabs a hammer and hits him in the head with it like twice. And then hits him like 4 more times to kill him.
Damn.
And after he does that, he like freed himself from his shackles and screams, like ripping his mouth stitches open.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What a way to start the film. Really unnecessary self-injury on that one.
Then when the game is over, that guy finds a file lying on a wooden crate on his side of the room with a tape recorder, and the tape congratulates him for his survival and provided him with instructions for the next trap, which is not shown until later in the movie, but I thought it was relevant to just mention right after, since the survivor has to immediately go into this other trap.
Yes, thank you, because I did not remember this. Is that the next trap?
Yeah. It's me.
Yes, it is.
Well, I didn't name the trap though.
Oh, what do you want to call this?
This one is titled. I give it honestly a 9 out of 10 for its themes and no mouth. And I call it Dogmatic Dissonance.
Dogmatic Dissonance. I like that.
Let's move on. I'm ready for the next one.
All right. So after Dogmatic Dissonance, our boy Art Blank here, who's a piece of shit lawyer, by the way.
Yeah,
but we get to meet his clientele later, so we can discuss why that's shitty later. But after he survives this, he gets hooked up into this next trap, which I like to call the permanent paralysis parasite.
Oh. I held that in for your delivery, but I felt like it was also apt. That's rough.
Yeah, it's a leather harness that has a trap device strapped onto the victim, and it's elongated with 2 pliers at the upper end, and these pliers are aimed at the victim's neck and would cut his spine if he did not follow the orders given to him.
Whew.
That's
Yeah.
the only design and function given on the wiki. Like, it doesn't explain who controls this, how do they know. I think there's like some kind of timer and it was hooked to that, but I just don't understand, like, was he gonna die regardless? I can't
don't-
quite remember.
I mean, you would think he wouldn't put it on if there was no. I mean, but who knows? I don't.
But
Maybe
basically,
he trusted Jigsaw. I don't know.
I guess, I mean, he has to, because otherwise he gonna die. There will be consequences.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
oh, there is actually an explanation as to how it got onto him, and all that, but that is not for us to know right now. But basically, he spends all this like background time setting up all of this movie because Jigsaw was dead, and so now, or about to be dead, he was busy with the stuff that we talked about with movie 3. So he was doing his other game. Like, man, this guy had a lot of business going on for a dying man. He was running a murderous empire. A boss bitch, that
Huh.
Jigsaw. Quite a boss bitch. He had another dude running a whole nother series of traps,
Oh, wow.
like within one big trap. That's crazy, while another one was going on. That's
This man lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes traps. He is just like
Yeah.
someone else that I know. Not
a
looking
true
at you.
trap lord. I don't think that's the correct usage of the
trap-
word, but
I think that's
I
the
think
original usage of the word,
it-
actually.
I think it should be, yeah.
The trap lord needs his trap queen.
Just like Fred.
Yeah, basically,
Also
our
nice.
boy Art Blank here built all these traps that Daniel Rigg is about to go through, that we're going to talk about. Kidnapped a lot of these people, left a lot of the shit there that he was supposed to leave, basically doing all the underhanded shit, and then eventually setting up the trap that's at the end.
Dun dun dun. Yeah.
Got a backpack.
Oh yeah. He's part of a different trap that
Yeah.
He's part of the big trap, the one that's part that plays into the next trap that we're talking about here.
Yes.
Yeah, he's part of like that one. He might be
Well, he's
involved.
part of Riggs, but like he's a part of the last trap that's a part of that trap. There's a lot of trap within the trap.
Yes, this is a very trapception theme movie. It's very much an onion. This one, it has layers. You really as you peel back each one, you find more.
Yeah.
Boy, we got a lot of ground to cover this time because of that, and I'm remembering that now. So let's keep going.
All right.
Hop up here.
So,
Trap number 3.
we've got the scalping seat.
Ouch! Oh no.
Ooh.
I think we can probably think of a better name than that. Let's see by the time I get to the end of this paragraph. Okay. So, in this trap, we have Brenda. Brenda is chained to some type of mechanic chair in the middle of Riggs's living room. The chair consists of a seat with a heavy machine with an exposed gear system, secured by a combination lock. Her hair, her beautiful long ponytail, is pulled through this machine, okay?
Sounds
Then-
awful.
Might be back up then.
So it is Riggs's task to just leave her behind and continue on his way. He is not supposed to save this woman.
Yeah, this is his first test in his test. Which
He's got a
Is-
lot. He's got a lot on his plate to chew.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
couple 1-2 punches coming up for him.
Basically, his is like, you need to stop being obsessed with me. I get it. I'm the Jigsaw Killer and I'm cool, but you need to sit back and let me do my business. I'm saving people.
And Riggs,
And,
the main detective guy.
Riggs gotta go along for the journey and see if he can not interfere, which, that's gonna be a trial for him, for sure.
Yes,
Because he has a habit of jumping the gun.
And from my understanding, at this point in the film, he's like one of the only remaining detective that was part of the whole team that has died at the hands of Jigsaw now, or
Yes.
been captured.
Yeah, he literally just got like chastised for like breaking down a door to get to Carrie's dead body, because that was really distraught to him. They were also mourning Detective Matthews, who he assumed was dead, and when he's first told that he's being tested, he learns that Matthews is not dead. He's in fact alive. So if he can pass these tests, he can save Detective Matthews, which is
Yes.
ultimately, I would assume, what he wants. But like, he's so obsessed with work that his wife, who very much loves him, is like, I'm gonna leave you. Like, I love you, but I'm literally leaving. Like, she
Yes.
walks out on him
Yeah.
moments before the test starts.
Yeah,
And I'm
she
like, damn.
really just.
That's really
freezes.
ironic that happens right before Jigsaw's about to tell you, hey, you have a work problem.
Yeah.
You have a work-home life balance problem, Rig. And that's just not gonna fly. So, then he goes and I think he's given the key to the apartment that the scalping seat is in. Correct? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to Eager Beaver Riggs over here, Brenda is also being tested. She is told that if Riggs saves her, he will arrest her. That because he has all these photos in this room that prove that she's kind of up to no good.
Bad person.
Yeah.
Not a great gal, this Brenda is. Not really somebody you would think of saving.
Not your grandma's Brenda.
Yeah, do we have, let me see if I can find what if it actually distinctly, like, I think I got the message of what she was doing. Like, I was like, okay, I think I get the picture here. But
Yeah, on the wiki it just says several photos in the room which prove that she was a criminal.
She's a criminal pimp.
Oh.
That is, yeah, she's a pimp, and she would pimp out young women. In my opinion, I was like, oh, she's pimping out young women that are like kind of underage. That's what it looked like to me. And so I don't think Jigsaw was wrong in telling her, hey, if he saves you, he's also gonna arrest you. Cause like, for sure, dog, you're doing some not good crime, bro.
It's not great.
You can't be pimping out young women like this. That's not cool.
Not on my streets, Jigsaw said. Not on my streets.
And Art Blank, reminder, Art Blank, our buddy in the Parasite Paralysis backpack, he was her lawyer and got her off for some of these crimes. So
Dang.
Not a great tag team of people.
we do not have a sympathetic bunch. But that's what I think makes these movies interesting, is when some of these people have done absolutely horrific things.
It makes it easier to watch in a sick and twisted way.
Yeah, Brenda gets a whole new look from this trap. Her hairline gets taken back quite a few inches, and I think you'd have to pay a lot of money to get that done by a surgeon. So, got free facial work done.
Well, for a time, Because
For a time,
I
and
believe
then-
that there is more to this trap than just her hair being pulled.
Oh,
at the
for
end of
sure.
it.
Yeah. Make no mistake, she's fully getting scalped.
Yeah, no, we're seeing fleshy scalp
There
that's
is
definitely
separation from
blood.
the skull.
No, I was meaning that like it doesn't end with her hair being pulled. There's another part of the trap that comes after Riggs's decision.
Oh yeah, so Rig gets the combination lock from around the gears that are pulling Brenda's hair in, and he was able to free Brenda, but because he interfered, once he goes to get a towel to get the blood off of her, Brenda pulls her bloody ass over to the television and grabs a knife in the little cabinet. And she starts swanging. I remember being extremely impressed with the dedication and the precision with which she was full stabbing
Yeah,
to kill.
This
She was trying to hit major arteries.
This
Oh, yeah.
woman
And I was
has
like, damn.
Oh god, this woman has done some major fight choreography work in her life.
Oh, for sure. And it was
No, I
well
don't
worth
wanna
it.
Show that. I don't know if I want to show that image.
Okay.
Obviously, Rig can't calm her down because she's trying to stab him. So he literally takes her head and like throws her into a mirror. And then she bleeds to death, and he notices her tape recorder, and that's when he finds out, oh, she was being trapped. So that's unfortunate. But like hopefully he learns his lesson in the next trap and he doesn't interfere. I do find it funny though that Jigsaw is giving him ways to interfere. Like,
Oh yeah.
if you want to, you can, but I have told you not to.
I mean, that's the whole point of the test, right? I mean, he's not physically torturing him like everybody else for the most part, but he is mentally torturing him and forcing him to go against his base nature as a person, which whenever you honestly I feel like hurts us as an audience even further to like see someone again and again and again repetitively make the same mistake to no end. I feel like that's almost the most heartbreaking thing about it at the end of the day.
I agree, but that's what's so like human and realistic about it is that I can understand why he repetitively makes this same mistake over and over and over again because he's a SWAT officer. Like, at the end of the day, like, he wants to save lives, and he hasn't been able to do that so many times and can't let that shit go. That honestly, I think Jigsaw's doing him a favor by making him go through this. To be honest.
I don't know if
Because
I'd
that
call it a
guy
favor, but
is
definitely
holding
trial
on
by
to
fire.
way too much like guilt about his colleague's death, which he's literally not responsible for in any way. But yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But you know what's not heartbreaking? This next trap.
Oh boy, oh, why do I have to do this one? Hey, wait, you didn't give a name for yours. Name your last trap.
Oh yeah. My trap I will call do no harm.
Good.
Now, for this next trap, I just want to apologize for the low quality visual we have here for the watchers on YouTube. The picture I wanted to show is too gory, so
Yeah,
I
there's
can't give you quite a lot.
I would also like to go ahead and give a trigger warning that this trap talks about sexual assault. So
but
just if you don't want to hear about this one, go ahead and skip a few minutes forward, and
It's
we will be
okay.
on to the next one, which
I'm not
is
gonna talk
terrible,
about
but
it,
not in
though.
that way.
I'm going to completely side skirt it as much as possible because I don't want to talk about it either. How dare you give me this one? So the next
If you don't want
guy,
this one,
he
you can take the
sucks.
next one.
No, I want control
Okay.
of this one so I can throw it in the trash. This next guy, Riggs is sent off with a key to figure out where to go put the key. And he winds up at a motel. inside of this motel is a TV that tells Riggs that he's got to kidnap another guy who has done a lot of fucked up stuff and put him in a salt trap. Gives him a pig mask and everything to make it anonymous. I'm pretty sure the man is also in the same motel.
He runs the motel.
He runs the motel.
That's why he has been able to get access to a lot of victims.
That sucks.
Yeah. He sucks.
Yeah, he sucks. This guy abuses people and photographs it. So there was obviously a lot of evidence directly related to his problems that Riggs was able to see. And which very easily got Riggs in the kidnapping mood. Because who wouldn't? And then the guy was brought back to, well, I guess from another place in the hotel back to this hotel. Either way, he's in a hotel. He's in a motel. And he gets strapped down to a bed. And Riggs tucks him in all nice and tight and puts him in his arm cuffs. Gun to his head so he'll listen.
Yeah.
Which is quite something. But
Everything that Riggs does to Ivan in this trap is things that Ivan did to his victims. So and I did not realize that until reading that in this this official wiki. Which I find to be extremely fitting, and this is one of those examples of like why I like these movies so much. Like, he was put through what he put other people through.
That is rough considering the situation. So his head gets put in, he's tied down to the bed, and his head is strapped into this hydraulic press weight that will break his skull, like one of the many pumpkins that are on the screen behind him. And he will die if he does not activate two separate little slow-moving pincer scythes that will come down and stab his eyes out. Both eyes separately, he finds out later.
Yeah, which I gotta say, I just absolutely love. Like, it is hard enough to ask somebody to, like, gouge their own eye, but to make them make that choice and then make it again, I love it.
Very intentional, and we applaud Jigsaw for this.
Ouch.
I think it's beautiful.
It's bad. Needless to say, he dies because he can't do it a second time.
Yeah.
And
no,
that is that. Then he dies, and Riggs must move on. And I don't know how he helps the situation at all. I don't really know how Riggs learned anything from this one.
The lesson for this one is literally the orders from Jigsaw that are written on the wall are feel what I feel. And the way that Jigsaw teaches him that lesson is Rig has to kidnap Ivan before being given any of the information about Ivan's crimes. And then once he brings Ivan into that room, he is immediately confronted with mountains of photographic and video evidence of Ivan's crimes. And I can't imagine the wave of anger and pure hatred that I think he's starting to slightly understand Jigsaw in this moment.
So it's not really a deal with your problems one. It's like a recruitment kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's like, understand why I do what I do, feel what I feel, and doesn't it frustrate you that you can, as a SWAT officer, you can do nothing about it?
Yeah.
Like, so that's a really a moving sentiment in my book as far as torture porn movies go.
Oh boy, yeah. That's.
So, what did you name this one?
I didn't.
I did not.
I give this one I give this one out of 10, and I'm gonna name it Pumpkin Smasher.
Pumpkin Smasher.
I like it.
Let's move on.
Fitting. All right, this is Riggs. It's kind of his final trap, as far as like when he's learning lessons before he gets to, Detective Matthews. Before he can get to Detective Matthews, he's got one more, and I want to call this one the "We're Getting a Divorce."
Yeah, this
this
one's called
one-
Prenups.
This one actually deals with two people that Officer Rigg already knows. A man and woman who are husband and wife are basically chained together in the middle of this room, and they are pinned like they have spears going through certain parts of their bodies all the way through to the other person. All of the husband's pins are placed in a way that hit major arteries. So the test is for his wife. I don't actually kind of believe that the dad was being tested at all. I think that he was supposed to die the whole time.
Yeah, 100%.
I can see
Basically, his wife, Jigsaw tells his wife that, oh, where does, let me find it. The way I like the way he says this to her. He says,
Reinforcement, little bird.
"The human body is a fascinating organism. It can withstand the most brutal injury and yet repair itself miraculously. And you know this all too well. How many broken bones have you suffered at the hands of your husband? How many flesh wounds have you endured? With time, the bruises can heal, but your pain has not. Today, I empower you to take control of your life. Can you disconnect from the one that brings can you disconnect from the one thing that has brought you and others so much pain? With time, your wounds will heal. His, however, will not. Remove the ties that bind you, or bleed to death from your inactivity. The choice is yours."
So obviously she does it because he fucking sucks.
Yeah, like the X-rays that are hung around the room are like heartbreaking. Like he's literally broken her arm in multiple occasions, and that's crazy. And like the thing is, like the police were involved at one point because Rigg had actually hit her husband when they were talking to their daughter at school, like however many years ago. They had been confronting the daughter about like what's going on at home, and she was like, "It's fine, everything's fine," and he was like, "No, clearly something's up." And when the dad was like, "Leave us alone," he bopped him one. And
Do you think it's fitting at all that this takes place in a classroom in an elementary school?
I wonder if it's the same school. Like, to me, it could be. But yeah, it's absolutely fitting. I think it was, if Rigg didn't remember this incident beforehand, that was surely going to jog his memory.
Definitely a memory jogger.
So Rigg gets there, and he has his own tape. And basically, Jigsaw's like, "Okay, bro, what have you learned? First comes the test, second comes the lesson. If you were to save as I save, then you'll see a person in front of you is but a student. So maybe don't fuck with my traps." And so what Rigg does is he tells her, do what you gotta do, basically, and helps her pull out that final spike thing a little bit. But he can't like take her out of the trap. He just like covers her with his jacket, and as he's leaving to go to the next place, he like pulls the fire alarm so that the police will come and hopefully save her.
I won't.
So yeah.
Okay.
So now
Yeah,
Riggs is on his way.
That is
The divorce.
Can I still rate this trap? Be the one to rate this trap?
Yeah.
Can I do it? I give this one a 10 out of 10. It was not that hard to watch and was full of bad bitch energy of a lady taking charge of her life again, and I loved it. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I felt okay with this movie at the end of the day, because
Like,
they gave that to her. Thank you.
I mean, in a way, Jigsaw was right. Like, you're basically as good as dead if you stay with this guy. Like, what is the limit that will be your final limit to being like, I'm done with you?
Nothing at that point.
Yeah. So
Next one.
now we got the final part of Riggs' trap. I figure we can talk about, there's one more trap after that, but it happens kind of in the middle of the movie, but it's not related to any of the traps going on.
Yes, I am aware of the one. I'm looking at it right now. I don't like it.
Would you want to talk about the final part of Riggs' test then?
Yeah, let's do that now instead. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready. It's yours.
Yeah, you just said you wanted to talk about this one instead of this one.
Oh,
Do you want this one?
yeah, in the order. I'm not saying I need to talk about it specifically. I'm just saying let's talk about this right now instead of the other thing.
Oh. We
Okay.
have 3 RP.
Goober.
All right. So, it's Mr. Matthews. All
And he
right.
looks like an absolute caveman.
Yeah, he has seen better days.
And he talks like one too.
He does literally most of this movie. It's just unintelligible, and I choose
Yeah.
to believe he just did not memorize any of his lines, and he was like, "Nah, it'll buff out. Trust me."
It's gonna make sense for the character, I swear.
He's been eating gruel for months. He doesn't understand human language.
All right, so basically, what we've got here is a little seesaw, and on one end, we have the classic scenario of guy hung by a noose with his feet on an ice block with little heaters around the ice block trying to get the ice to melt.
Ah, yes, the very common trope.
Yeah, you all know. And then on the other side of the seesaw, we have an electric chair. And in this electric chair, we got Hoffman, a boy.
Hoffman. He's not my boy. Speak for yourself.
I'm sorry, he's your man. So basically, the wiki's not telling me shit. We watched this movie a couple nights ago.
I got it written here. It's all good.
Let me read your notes.
You got this. My notes never fail. They're probably around here. Yeah.
According to Riggs' first tape, when he's introduced to the fact that he's going to be being tested, it states that Eric Matthews is still alive. The block of ice he stands on is melting. He has but 90 minutes to save himself. Detective Hoffman's fate is linked to Eric's survival. Heed my warning. Their lives hang in the balance of your obsession.
Aubrey,
Will
is
you
this our
learn to let
hint?
go?
Aubrey, are you giving us a hint to what
No,
it is? Yes, say, just
no,
say
I
yes.
just wanted to mention that some of the restrictions around this trap were mentioned to Officer Rigg in his first tape.
Okay.
And he clearly misunderstood what Jigsaw was trying to say to him.
Yeah, he most definitely did, but most men in a hurry do.
It's just a shame because he did so well with the "we're getting a divorce" trap.
Yeah, right.
He did
was
exactly
really
what he
showing
should
some
do.
promise.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe we're getting there. But, he is human, so.
Yeah. So one guy is on a noose, melting ice, seesaw. Other guy on the other side of the noose, in a chair. What's up with that?
Well, so the problem is if this ice melts, okay, it's all gonna collect on the other side of the seesaw, and
What
it's
direction
gonna
does it feel
fry
relative
the
to you?
shit out of Hoffman.
Yeah.
And that's our boy.
Is there a road on the opposite side?
Okay.
I will also mention, at this point, Detective Eric Matthews has quite literally zero will to live.
Oh, yeah.
Zero.
He
He's
is
not-
trying so hard to get off that ice block.
The only
And-
intelligible things he says is being like, "Let us go," to Art when Art is like setting up the trap, and then he tells Art to fuck himself and attempts to jump off the ice block.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I should not be laughing, but then Art just goes over and puts him back on the block
Yeah.
because like he's chained up, like you can't stop him. So
Yeah, well, and that is the integral part we must mention is that what causes the water to collect
heading
on
west.
Hoffman's
Sorry.
side of the seesaw is
you
when Detective Matthews tries to step off of the seesaw because it
Yeah.
gets way down on Hoffman's side, which connects the water to the electricity and his chair.
So if the ice block completely melts, the seesaw will just eventually tip right over.
So he must stay.
And I will say, Hoffman does a great job in this movie of looking real pressed about the fact he could be electrocuted at any moment, allegedly.
Oh yeah.
There's some great acting from the character Detective Hoffman, which is even better acting from the actor.
I don't want to think too deeply into that. That hurts my brain.
It's the Croft, darling.
Oh.
So by the time that our boy Daniel Rigg gets all the way to Eric, where is it?
Should be intersecting with your road shortly.
Right before Jigsaw basically told Art, okay, give Eric a gun with a bullet. And let him have a choice if he wants to live or die, I guess. I don't understand why. I'm sure Art was like, why do you want me to give a gun to this clearly suicidal man who's literally been doing nothing but begging me to kill him for the last however long we've been here?
Yeah, it was definitely a power play. Most definitely. Cause like the guy could have definitely shot Art as well instead of himself. But he instead chooses to shoot nobody, and hold on to the gun instead. Which therein causes a problem.
Art starts to realize too that this mechanism above Eric's head is connected to the door mechanism. So he's realizing, oh my god, Eric's head is going to be absolutely obliterated if that door gets opened before the 90-minute timer goes off.
In a way that is not dissimilar from the gym scene from
take
one
this
of those
one and
Final
go rescue the other
Destination
quad bike.
movies.
And then
Yeah.
What a poll. I don't even think we've talked about those
Good.
like as a topic on this show yet.
Viewers, let us know. Listeners, please let us know. If you want us to talk about those, we absolutely will. I've seen every single one.
Mwah.
Oh.
They are classic.
And based on those groans from Mason and the excited chef's kiss from Fern, I'm gonna say that's a go.
You poor
Back to the
thing.
trap though. Rigg is like about to enter the room, and Eric and Art and Hoffman are all like, no. What the fuck? What the fuck? Don't enter. They're kind of freaking out, like who's coming? What's going on? Because they don't know who's coming, but they've kind of all put two and two together.
That if the door opens, someone's gonna die, which causes other people to die.
Yeah, but as he gets to the door, Eric is screaming at him not to open the door.
Finally
And-
says something intelligibly.
Yeah.
When he opens the door, Eric shot him in the chest. It was like to keep him from entering the room, like he was trying to shoot at the door, but Rigg enters, bursting into a room that was not secured, which is the first thing he did that got him in trouble in the movie.
In the SWAT teams.
And when he opens the door,
Well, that ceiling.
oh wait, sorry. This is the way that they are really giving me way too much information. Never thought I'd be saying that.
Yeah, really, I didn't either. That's like a me banger, Aubrey.
No.
When he opened the door, Art Blank, who had been in the room with them the entire time, approached Rig, who
Why are
then
you
shot
calling him
Art
Rig now?
into the chest. That's his name.
Is he not
Rig.
Lieutenant Riggs?
No, it's Rig, no S. R-I-G-G. Daniel Rig.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we had Riggs's trial pulled up on the screen for so long it changed his name in my head.
Yeah.
I've been so confused this podcast, guys.
So, Art gets shot, and Art's literally trying to grab like a tape as he gets shot. And then Eric's head is artistically smashed between two large blocks of ice swinging down from the ceiling. It'd be like a firework if it was cool to watch that. But it's not. It's gross. It's real gross.
Oh, full on Gallagher.
Rig falls to the floor, just absolutely gutted because that's all he wanted was to save him. And
also
Art
shot. He is a bullet.
Yeah.
In him. That hurts too.
Yeah, and Rig shoots Art again, thinking that Art is trying to grab a weapon when he's really just trying to grab a tape.
And play it.
Yeah. Upon listening to the recording, Rig finally realized his test wasn't to save Eric, but to let Eric save himself. Just like Jigsaw said, Detective Matthews has 90 minutes to save himself. He didn't say you have 90 minutes to save Eric Matthews. He said he needs to save himself. So, game over to Rig. Rig collapsed on the floor, and Hoffman escapes. Like, Hoffman literally just pops up off that chair. Like it's nobody's business. No electrocution, no nothing.
That chair ain't have no electricity in it.
He literally, he goes over to Rig's, like, dying body and goes, game over. And just struts out of that bitch.
Yeah. Dusts himself off. Gives a little tee-hee. Clicks his heels on the way out the door.
So, that brings us to our little bonus trap that was in, a Jigsaw flashback. Did you have a trap name for the ice block trap? Crunchy Munchy Head Masher?
No, it's gotta involve the seesaw in some way, right?
The seesaw effect.
Fuck, no. I think it was yours to name.
Let's call it Child's Play.
I hate that.
I love it, and it's seasonally appropriate.
Seasonally?
Yeah, the Child's Play movies.
Oh, because it's Halloween. Yeah.
So, in a flashback, we get to see the first trap that Jigsaw ever did. I will say there is a Saw movie that I believe decanonized this as the first trap that he ever did, but I don't want to ever talk about that Saw movie. And if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh no, we're not. We're never gonna watch that one.
Aw, now I want to make you do it.
Absolutely sucked.
It doesn't count.
Okay.
It literally doesn't count, and I waited like a year, and when I saw it in theaters, Cole and I were both so disappointed. The movie finished, and we looked at each other, and I said, that was garbage. And he was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I thought it was bad, too.
I don't know. This guy on the screen looks like he's pretty disappointed with how this one went. He looks very
For me,
upset.
this is a great origin story to John Kramer, or not, is it John Kramer? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, John Kramer. This is a great origin story for why John does what he does. And we're introduced in this movie to John's wife, Jill. And they were married and were going to have a baby. And then sadly, Jill works at a addiction clinic, and somebody came in late one night and tried to rob her of the medicine. And on the way out, he basically obliterates her baby with the push of a door. And that is an understandably hard thing for both Jill and John to go through.
Especially from what it sounded like that John had plotted out on, like, the zodiac table would like the
Yeah.
exact day he
Um,
wanted the conception of the baby to happen.
Yeah, it was definitely hard for Jill, but it was much harder for John because John was fully obsessed with getting this baby timing right
So
and all of
in
his...
saying this, to be
I'm
honest
not
with
gonna
you,
drive that way,
I
so
think
we'll
that it
die.
is incorrect to say that this
That would've been
is
nice to know before I
the
drove
reason
there.
why he does what he does. I think this is the trigger point for why he does what he does.
Yeah.
Because obviously John Kramer is a very meticulous
Well,
and hateful man.
yeah, he also
in
he
his
already
regular
does show
life.
signs before Gideon, that's the name that they had given their baby. Before Gideon dies, he had expressed that he didn't feel like this rehab clinic was doing anything for the people and it doesn't truly rehabilitate them, and that is the reasoning behind his work, is to rehabilitate people. So it is kind of ironic that his wife worked at a rehab center.
Possibly where we
Um,
got the idea from.
Yeah, I think it was frustrating him to see her go through the same things over and over again with some of the people, and frustrated with like, why can't people just be fixed the first time? And like that sucks because like some people it's gonna take a few more times, John. Not
Oh,
everybody gets it
yeah,
right
give
the
him a
first time,
second.
bro. Give him
John,
a second.
just because you got in a fucking crazy car accident after all this happened and you fucking had to remove a piece of metal from your tummy, and you were tested, it doesn't mean that everyone else has to be tested that way. I don't think that physical trauma is the only way to learn something.
Oh, the wiki does confirm this is the first trap that John Kramer ever made. So it sounds like the wiki also does not agree with that other movie.
Probably, considering this was
So that's
written
great.
by fans.
Well, this is official. It says it's official.
Officially
And
fan
I'll
written.
give it to him. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
So Cecil, which is the guy that had robbed the clinic and
CC.
responsible for the death of Gideon, John kidnaps him and brings him to his new warehouse, the Gideon meatpacking plant. And when Cecil wakes up, he's in this chair with these little, almost like shutters of knives around his face.
It's very rudimentary.
And the interesting thing is this is like, there's no tape, there's nothing like that. John's just right there in the room. And
John
he
put it on
explains
his
to
head.
him, yeah, he was like, I wanna play a game. Your life is a lie. Now comes your moment of truth. As a drug user and as a hustler, you played roulette with other people's lives. Today, you play with your own. That was the unused tape, allegedly.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was never given to him?
No, because John just sat there and kind of antagonized him.
Yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
Yeah. So as Cecil pushes through these knives, his face just gets absolutely cut up.
Yeah.
But I will say they're gonna scar really cool. You're gonna be totally fine. And then once he freed himself,
after cutting his face up,
yeah, he lunges at John to try to kill him, and John just skeets right out of the way, and Cecil just falls right into a cage filled with razor wire.
Because of course there was a cage of razor wire behind John.
You don't keep a cage of razor wire just like
In
on
your
deck
house?
right behind you?
Yeah.
No.
You haven't found mine yet?
I guess I'm always looking at your front.
Use the big red crate.
Oh, you know what? Here we go. Just the last little bit of information. I will leave. Cecil's death is also mentioned in the video game Saw 2: Flesh and Blood by Detective David Tapp.
Oh,
According to him, he and his colleagues initially suspected that Cecil's death might be the result of gang criminality, even though none of them knew a gang with this specific modus operandi. And to me, that kind of makes sense. Like, Cecil would have just looked like really bad, like he got into a really bad knife fight. So that makes sense why, like, this one wouldn't have been crazy, because John just disposed of his body normally. He did take the jigsaw piece out of it, but he didn't like leave his body in the trap or anything for the police to find. Like in later.
It's true, he wasn't
traps.
well established yet. He couldn't take that risk.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
for sure.
was,
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't want to get stopped after the first go around.
Yeah, he was like, wait a minute.
He didn't know how good he was at hiding bodies yet.
Yeah. And
And
hey,
boy,
with
is
that,
he. Well, actually, no, he's not.
He don't really be hiding them. He's just like, here you go. I was here.
Does he just always have gloves on for some print reasons?
I'm gonna dub this one Razor Roulette.
Nice.
What? Fuck you. This one's mine.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is. The last one.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's Fern's because the last one was yours.
No, because the last one was Fern's.
You named
The last one was the ice block trap, which Fern named Child's Play. And then now we're on this one, which is mine.
I don't think you
Damn.
read it, though.
Because Aubrey decided she wanted to be the one to say it because
So that means
she's all
it's
cool.
Aubrey.
Well, listeners, we got a lot of tension in the studio, but hopefully we can resolve that by next week. But
We're gonna have
no
a tiny saw
promises.
trap of our own.
I'm calling it the inside of the outside of a knife box.
Knife box, got it.
Fuck you. That's not the full intent. Jill Tuck would be so mad at you right now.
Oh man. No,
Not
Jill Tuck.
good.
I get Jill Tuck. We're homies.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jill Tuck in this movie.
Yeah, she
got
spends
it
all
bad,
of this
got it
movie
bad.
being absolutely harassed by the police, which has been pretty much, I'm sure, her whole life. Having been married to John.
Having
Like,
been
she's
married
not.
to John Kramer.
I love her very
Yeah.
nonchalant. Just like, please don't ask me about my ex's serial killer tendencies, okay?
You're like,
Really
I don't know
don't.
nothing about that shit. But I get it. Like, at this point, she's like, "Ugh, that's literally all anybody ever. Like, I can't go out for a fun night on the town without somebody being like, oh my god, are you Jigsaw's wife? I've had it. Absolutely had it.
And I've had it with you guys showing me these movies, and yet we're here, aren't we?
Tune in next week when we show Mason more spooky stuff that he doesn't want to see.
Spooky Month.
Yay!
Spooky month!
I don't like this anymore. Fuck. I hit the wrong button.